Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bright Founders Talk at Temi. Temi is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. My name is Matthew, and I'm joined today by Dr. Aviv Yehezkel, who is the co-founder and CTO at Cynamics. Doctor, did I get your pronunciation right there?
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for hosting me.
Fantastic. Aviv, if you could tell our viewers and our listeners, please, a little bit about what it is that you do and who you are.
Absolutely. So, hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Aviv Yehezkel. My background is pretty much technological leadership. I started my way in the Israeli Defense Forces. I served for 5 years in both A200 unit and also the Naval Intelligence. I also, at the same time, completed my PhD studies. Actually, I did my first degree before drafting into the army, and then during my army service, I obtained my PhD in computer science from the Technion in Israel, in Haifa. In both in the army and in my studies, and also in between my army service to Cynamics, and of course when I worked for 1 year in the Israeli high-tech ecosystem in Nice Systems, one of the largest Israeli corporates, software corporates. There was a AI team leader there, and of course now with Cynamics, my entire career is all about working with amazing people, solving very complex problems with the strongest tools out there, and in inventing new tools with machine learning, deep learning, AI, and really keeping with innovating and raising the bar farther and farther. And I'm really delighted for me working with such amazing people and solving such interesting, complex problems. That's pretty much my background. So now I'm with Cynamics. So the story goes. It was after my army service and after my PhD, and after I also tasted the Israeli high-tech ecosystem, as I said. Me and my co-founder, Eyal, we understood there's a problem. Networks, computer networks, organizational computer networks, are becoming increasingly complex and complicated. Traffic volumes, data volumes, architectures, number of endpoints, number of devices. We all know why the cloud, the on-premise, this messy mix all between. The networks are just becoming more and more complex and complicated with each and every year. But from the other hand, the network security solutions haven't changed really over the last 2 decades. They're still based on the very same approach, which is called appliances. And we can think about it as boxes that we place in the network, and we send to them as much as network data as we can and let them analyze it. Now, the appliances were very suitable for the earlier days networks, which were much simpler, much smaller, and you could really send all of the traffic all the time to these appliances for analysis. But today it's impossible. No one can do it. No one can send all of the data all the time to the appliances. And the reality is that organizations need to compromise what they send and what they don't, what data they will analyze, and what areas of the network they will cover, and what of the majority of the network will be just left behind as one big blind spot with no coverage whatsoever. And this is the reality we understood 4 years ago when we co-founded Cynamics, that organizations need to compromise on a daily basis what is left behind, and this area, this majority of the network, 90% of the network on average case, which is left behind, just calling for attackers to get into the organization and do whatever they want. And we decided to solve it from a really interesting technological approach, which is a new approach, actually, for cybersecurity that wasn't done before, not in the industry, not in the academy, which is based on sampling, taking very radically small sample of the network data, much less than 1% of the network data going inside the organizational network, and inventing a suite of technologies based on AI and deep learning and machine learning. And we already have 7 patents and 4 papers about this technology, about our novel technology, that enable us to learn from the very small samples how the entire network looks like and behave in real time, so we can predict attacks long before they hit.
That is crazy.
A long one.
So we had a bit of a chat before we met, and I told you I don't have a technical bone in my body. However, you've managed to explain that in such a way that I understand it. And you started the company, something you mentioned, you co-founded the company 4 years ago. Can you tell us about your team? Who were the people that you were with? And was this an idea that you all had? Was it a problem that you all saw and decided, right, if we put our minds together, this is what we can achieve? How did that start?
Eyal and I, we are the two co-founders. So we were connected and introduced by a mutual friend. It's really interesting because Eyal came with the business idea of there is something wrong here. The network security today doesn't make any more sense. What I just described, the appliances approach, they doesn't make any more sense. They don't scale to today's networks. And he saw it in real life, in his previous experiences with network security and how networks are being crippled again and again in real life because of this lack of coverage due to the appliances limitations. So this was Eyal. And I came with the technological idea of, okay, this is like a massive big data problem. And the way we should approach it is by sampling the network data, because no one can cope with the size and complexity of the network data anymore. And not today, not into the future, because it's exponentially growing year after year. So this combination of the business and the technology sides was really the basis for Cynamics. And it's really interesting to see how it came from both the real life with Eyal and my real life together.
Now, something else that is worth mentioning before we talk more about Cynamics, you mentioned in the Forbes 30 under 30. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What was that experience like for you? What was the process?
Yes, I was really happy to be selected by the Forbes 30 under 30 committee here in Israel. I must say it was kind of out of the blue for me. I remember running one day, getting the phone, this call phone, the Forbes representative saying me that I was selected for this year list. And it was really exciting moment, and it was last year that the big event took place, and I was really happy to be part of it. I think the Forbes list, the Forbes annual list is really a great combination of amazing people from all over all industries and all kinds of businesses, and not only businesses but also sports and arts and culture. And it's I think it was a very nice recognition for my way and how we progress and go with Cynamics into the future. So
That's fantastic. So you were on a run, you got a phone call. Did you run back home really quickly and phone everybody and say, guess what happened?
So they tell you not to say anything to anyone. It's like they want to keep the stealth of mode of the list, just up until I think, a few days before the list is being published. But yeah, it's
Wow.
it was a nice moment. I remember it. Yeah.
Geez, that's like being told a really juicy secret and somebody says, look, don't tell anybody else, but this is happening. And you're like, oh no. Oh, but that's very cool. Congratulations. And
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's an awesome achievement. Well done. And so going back now to Cynamics. So Cynamics has been, you said you co-founded 4 years ago. In between this, you were awarded your 30 under 30, and now we're back into the business. Tell me a little bit about where you guys are going, because I see that your technology is, if I have a look here, It's the only next generation network detection and response solution in the market at the moment. So there must be some pretty big things coming up in the future. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the thing about our technology is first of all, it's domain agnostic. We work with all industries, all businesses, and the sampling idea that I described, the fact that we take such a little fraction of the network data and we work with it and we learn from it about the entire network with our technologies, this is the fundamental idea that enable us to work with any network size, any network environment. And we serve clients networks from small one to IT man shops into the largest data centers out there, and in a completely similar way. We took a very, we see a very interesting growth of the business during these 4 years, of course. In the first year, we mainly focused on small, medium and businesses in the public sector and in the private sector, all mainly in North America, all different organizations like 911 centers, emergency centers, city, counties, all different levels of local governments. This was the main clients we worked initially with. And then from the public sector, we also expanded to the private sector in the United States. And then in the year after, we grew into the mid-enterprise market and into larger governmental clients as well. We started to work with partners. And during the last year, we, together with our expansion also to Europe and also to other regions, and we opened our first site in Europe this year. But together with this geographical expansion, we also grew into a bigger league of largest data centers together with our partnership with NVIDIA. We have an integration of our solution with NVIDIA platforms that enable us to work with NVIDIA clients that use NVIDIA infrastructures in the data center and to protect the data centers end to end just by a few clicks activation of this integration. So this is one very significant progress that we've done this year, and which is going also into the next years of Cynamics and going with NVIDIA and with other similar partners into this largest networks of the world. And another front was into the federal market in the United States. So we started, as I said, in the very first year with local governments and cities and counties and small municipalities in the United States. And this year, together with another partnership with Merlin Cyber, we're actually we're joining forces with them into the federal market in the United States, working with federal agencies and also providing them with our solution. And we are just about to be FedRAMP compliant, which is the compliance which is needed in order to work with such organizations. And we actually will be the very first solutions in our area, in the network detection response, which is FedRAMP compliant.
Wow.
Which is, together with what I said about NVIDIA, it positions us in a very interesting point of being the only solution that can work with the largest networks from one hand because of the sampling approach and because of our ability to be completely scalable to any network size and environment. And from the other hand, being FedRAMP compliant and being able to serve this federal agencies and the most secure organizations and governmental organizations in the United States. So this is very interesting intersection for us. And together with this, the last year was also a turning point with getting into bigger partners, MSSPs partners, organizations that provide network solutions and network security solutions, network and security solutions for their clients. And we have some very interesting partners in this category as well. So this is I think it's really nice to see how we grew the business, over year after year, and how we created this credibility and reputation first in the small, mediums public sector in the United States, and then in the private sector, in the enterprises market, and then into the federal and the data centers. And I think it's really nice to see this growth.
Absolutely.
And definitely, Cynamics is in a mission with it. We want to be the leader of this network detection response market. This market is the second highest growing market in cybersecurity, and not by chance. The network is such significant, fundamental for any security practice, because everything is eventually traversing the network. Whatever is going inside the organization is traversing the network. This is something that, the network security is not going anywhere, but just rising and increasing year after year. And with our approach, with the sampling-based approach, with our technology, with our successful achievements year after year, our goal is to continue and to grow our market share, to scale the business, and to become a leader.
That is really, really, really cool. And it sounds like it happened really fast. Obviously, you've identified a specific need. You've come up with what sounds like a brilliant solution, and you're just going from strength to strength. But surely, on a personal note, if you don't mind, this must have come with some of its challenges. There must have been times where you thought, can we handle this? It's growing so quickly. All these doors are starting to open. Did it catch you by surprise? Or did you know it was going to happen? Were you mentally prepared for the rush?
I think this is something which is really related to the entrepreneurial spirit. And I think that if you have it, right, you are ready for it, right? It's not only that you're ready for it, but you embrace it. You are excited about it, about every such challenge from one end, and the successes that it can bring from the other hand. And I think that it's all about working with and having this amazing team together. My co-founder Eyal, myself, all of our amazing team together with us, and knowing that whatever challenge will be, we will definitely be able to solve it, to mitigate whatever technical challenges, and to overcome whatever it will be, and continue successfully to the next milestone and the other one. And I think this is something which is really part of being an entrepreneur, in my opinion.
A little bit more on that vein, the entrepreneurial spirit. Is this something you knew you wanted to do when you left school? Did you go, I'm going to run a business one day. I want to be in this position?
Yes, definitely. So from young age, I knew that I want to have a PhD first, and then second, I want to found my own startup, my own business, and to solve some very deeply challenging problem with the new approach, with new technology. This was clear to me that I want to have the skills and the tools, and I want to have the PhD from one side, but I'm interested in the real life, in the real world, and I want to solve very significant problems with the new technology that we will develop. And yeah, I'm happy that I was able to obtain my PhD first, and now to work on a very interesting, deeply challenging problem as I wanted, and really to transform it. I talked about it in my introduction, how this network security domain was completely stagnated when we started Cynamics. All of the other solutions, the very same approach, appliances, with all of the limitations I mentioned, and how we came in and completely transformed the industry from appliances to applianceless, from very limited coverage, visibility, and protection of the network of very small area to complete visibility and coverage and protection end to end. All of this with very unique and novel technologies that we invented and keep inventing. This new field that we inventing, the combination of AI and samples for cybersecurity. So it really makes me very delighted and excited, and really wanting to keep it up.
Dr. Aviv, I know you've got a lot of things to do, so I've only got one last one for you. It's one of my favorites. Tell us, do you have a favorite quote or a favorite expression? And I like to say, if I have to write something on your bedroom wall, you wake up every day, you see what it says. You have no choice. You have to read it every day. What does it say?
I will use actually one of the expressions of my co-founder, of Eyal, actually, which this one I really like. So every day he was coming to the office and say, to everyone, to the team, and, really, and writing it even, or this is going to be the best day ever.
This is going to be the best day ever.
This is really strong. Yeah.
I like that.
Whatever day it is, whatever challenges we have, or things are going better or a bit less better, or, whatever. This is going to be the best day ever. And when you start your day like this, it's going to be amazing.
That's fantastic. Well, Dr. Aviv, I just wanted to say thank you very much for your time today. We'll be keeping our eye on you. Is there anything you'd like to tell our viewers and our listeners before we say goodbye?
So, really thanking you, Matt, for hosting me, and it was really good to have this discussion. I will finish up by saying that, of course, we are growing all the time, and we are looking for amazing people all the time. At the moment, we are looking for backend engineers, DevOps, data scientists, cyber researcher, and you can just only from the technological perspective, and you can see all of our opening all the time. And I would also say that we have in addition to the team in Israel, we also have the site in Europe, and we have the site in the US. So there are lots of options and possibilities. And thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you again. You keep well. Best of luck, and I hope to see you again in the near future.
Thank you, Matt.